Hey guys, Firearms Addict here with a book review on Firearms Curiosa by Winant. This is a really interesting book with quite a bit of information that I've never seen anywhere else. Actually, with some firearms I've never seen anywhere else, and trust me, I've done lots of research and read lots of books on firearms. From the front jacket of the book, the many strange and freakish gun fabrications that are shown in this book are a tribute to man's inventive energy as applied to the development of arms. From the days just past and from the days long gone, Winant has selected over 300 pieces as representative of the oddities that have been constructed to utilize the propelling force of gunpowder. That statement certainly sums up the book in one paragraph. And the amount of work that Mr. Winant put into this book is amazing. It was published in 1955. It's no longer in print, but you can find them on the secondary market. I got this copy off of eBay. I know Amazon has them as well. And prices range somewhere close to $25 unless you go up into the collector's grades. The book features 12 chapters on various subjects. Chapter 1 is on combination weapons, everything from a shield pistol to holy water sprinklers to combination hunting knives and wheel-lock pistols. This particular one is actually featured at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and I've seen that. Chapter 2, we find out all about miniature firearms. These are incredible pieces of work. Now, this chapter probably interests me the least because I like to shoot firearms, and these really aren't something that you can take out to the range and shoot, the majority of them anyway, that is. But still, just an amazing subject, and the workmanship that these people put into these is quite astounding. In Chapter 3, we discover two-barreled revolvers, things such as this. In Chapter 3, we discover two-barreled revolvers such as this Billinghurst rifle shotgun, to things that are more common, such as the LeMat. But one thing I found amazing was the amount of different varieties of LeMats that actually existed back when they were produced. In Chapter 4, we look at two-cylinder revolvers. These things are just crazy. Something that I didn't actually even know existed until I read this book. Chapter 5 is on squeezers and knuckle dusters. I've always looked at these with amazement. The Chicago palm pistol, Minneapolis palm pistol, quite a few different varieties of these. I've always entertained the thought of purchasing one and figuring out a way to reproduce the cartridges and actually experience firing them. The book also has other things that, such as this Reed's My Friend. I've seen these actually at gun shows, so just a pretty interesting chapter on quite a bit of different firearms. Chapter 6 actually probably ended up being one of my favorite chapters. This is about alarm and trap guns. Things like this alarm gun that was fired with a magnifying glass from the sun at a certain time when the sun hit it just right to set off the black powder, to guns you would screw into a windowsill to set off an alarm. Just an amazing amount of different firearms that are included in this chapter. In Chapter 7, we look at knife pistols and cane guns. These I've seen at some gun shows, but it's amazing the variety of different ways that a firearm could be combined into a pocket knife and then put into a cane as well. In Chapter 8, we look at other disguised guns, firearms that are disguised as smoking pipes. Examples such as this World War II Nazi belt buckle firearm. Just an amazing assortment of different ways to disguise guns. Chapter 9 is all about superposed loads, which I didn't know a lot about, but this was a wealth of knowledge all the way back in the time of wheel-locks, back in the 1500s, on up into percussion firearms. Inventors were searching for ways to have repeating firearms, and just a wealth of information in this chapter. Chapter 10 is about turret and chain guns. I've only seen these in books ever, but quite an interesting chapter with essentially what you would consider a modern day belt for a machine gun, but put into a firearm way back in the day, or things like this turret that's just a wheel that spins. Just incredible diversity in this chapter. Chapter 12 actually ended up being one of my favorite chapters in the book, and it's called Fancy Free. And not to give too much away, but this was a joke between two people at Colt, and it's a bunch of fantasy firearms, but they're really neat, and reading all the descriptions on each one was quite interesting, and I just think it'd be kind of cool to reproduce one of these as an actual firearm. These were never actually produced. I really enjoyed that the author includes quite a few patent drawings. I always find those fascinating to look at. The author also includes several examples of original advertising. Where possible, the author also included original letters. Something I found distracting about the book is the layout of the plates. Here we're talking about plate numbers 24 and 25, which are not these. You actually have to flip back a page to see those. And the author goes into quite a bit of detail on these different firearms. I always found myself having to flip back and forth just to put a picture with the words of how he was describing it. All in all, this is a wonderful book with tons of information on strange and unusual firearms. The only things that I wish could be changed was the layout of the book, and I would love for a copy to come out with modern photography. And the more I think about this book and the work that Mr. Winant put into it after reading it, he put this together before the days of the internet and either had to travel, write to people. It's just amazing the wealth of information that he assembled into one place. And even, 70 years later, this book is still relevant. Check it out if you can, and hope you like this video. I'm going to feature some other book reviews, and please hit the like button, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.